You're applying to the HBS 2+2 program or deferred enrollment programs at other top business schools, and you have no idea what to write in your essay. Let's solve that problem today. Hi, I'm Jeremy Scheinwald, founder of MBA Mission, and we're going to review an HBS 2+2 application essay that worked. First of all, what is the HBS essay question? As we review your application, what more would you like us to know as we consider your candidacy for the Harvard Business School MBA program? 900-word limit. If you're unfamiliar with the question itself, you may now understand why we created this video. HBS's essay question is, in a word, vague. What more would you like us to know? You can tell them almost anything. So what should a 2+2 applicant in particular keep in mind? I'm going to go paragraph by paragraph through the successful HBS essay to answer just that question. But if you'd like a ton of examples, be sure to download our book, What Matters and What More, 50 Successful Essays for the Stanford GSB and HBS and Why They Worked, linked in the description below. First and foremost, you don't need to puff up your chest and be any bigger than you are. Let's read the first paragraph of our successful essay example. I stared at Professor Guzman's closed office door and thought, okay, what next? My fifth attempt to persuade him to be the advisor of my student-run behavioral economics think tank had failed. Still, I began asking my peers if they wanted to join me. Most weren't as deliberate in their refusal as Professor Guzman, but few showed any real interest. I eventually addressed both my Judgment and Decisions class and my Science of Behavioral Change seminar, encouraging anyone interested to contact me. My first official meeting at a local cafe attracted just 3 students, but I was undeterred. Okay, so in that first paragraph, we don't learn that this applicant launched a mega success like TikTok in his dorm room. We learn that this applicant effectively failed at launching a student group with a professor, and repeatedly so. There's nothing wrong and everything right with humility, and this applicant is merely offering his best and what is expected of a student at this point in his career, namely the student club that he's persistently trying to start. Let's continue. Our small team decided to launch independent research on lighthearted and easily understandable topics. We first explored whether incentives could help prevent cell phone addiction and surprisingly found that no reasonable reward appeared capable of reducing a student's cell phone use. We issued a press release on our findings, promoting the story to local media. Ultimately, my co-author was featured in a short CNN segment, and suddenly 35 students were eager to join us. Maybe we should have explored the effect of media coverage on student think tank enrollment. Our momentum finally persuaded Professor Guzman to be our faculty advisor, and a significant Rolodex in Silicon Valley helped facilitate our first symposium for 130 students and 30 paying community members. Despite the event's quirky name, tech addiction, facts, fallacies, and hold on, I have to check my phone, Google, Facebook, and Microsoft granted us gold sponsorships. Seeing our idea become a reality was gratifying, but even more so were the positive results it yielded for my peers. 3 of my classmates attribute their summer internships at Microsoft, which doesn't recruit on campus, to contacts they made at the symposium. Now, our think tank has almost 200 students from various departments, psychology, economics, management, mathematics, and we plan to level up from a symposium to a 2-day conference this year. What do we learn from this second paragraph? Well, we learned that the club's on an upswing, but more so, we're learning about a characteristic. We're learning that our hero is just dogged in his pursuit of that which is important to him, and that he creates outcomes for himself and others. Appealing traits for a B school to see, though your trait should obviously not be his, but should be your own. What else do we notice? Well, this story thus far is very simple. We're not being wowed by poetry or crazy adjectives. We're being compelled by the simple language and sincere voice of an individual who's committed to something in a meaningful way. Okay, let's read on. Here my story deviates a little. I received a summer internship offer from Microsoft after our symposium, but I'd already committed to one at Lamplight Productions. Even though Microsoft was offering a salary, Lamplight wasn't, I felt I needed to honor my commitment. Arriving at Lamplight, I soon discovered why they weren't prepared to pay me. The company was in disarray after a disastrous string of unprofitable movies, and the founding partners were not on speaking terms. I suddenly faced the prospect of an unproductive summer. Neither partner wanted to be responsible for me, and everyone else was more interested in sending out their resumes than training an intern. My experience of trying to convince Professor Guzman to join my think tank had taught me to just put my head down and start producing results until others developed some faith in me. So that's what I did. I asked myself, what does a failing business need? The answer was simple: increase revenue or reduce costs. I was too new and my timeline was too short to achieve the former, so I pursued the latter. I had Lamplight's bookkeeper walk me through variable production costs. knowing that 2 shows would soon start shooting. He explained that virtually every expense, actors, lighting, sound, etc., had been agreed to contractually, and the only negotiable item left was food services. He planned to award 2 contracts within a few weeks, so I asked to create a competitive bidding process for them. He was sufficiently disinterested that he agreed. I ran a reverse auction online using a free trial from auctiondown.com that attracted 18 competitors and managed to shave roughly $100,000 off of our food services budget. Okay, in these 2 paragraphs, we're again not really learning about the applicant's feats, but a lot about this applicant's values. This applicant gave his word to Lamplight and turned away a salaried position at Microsoft, and that takes courage and a strong sense of self. Then this applicant went into Lamplight, stayed above the fray, and solved problems on his own. There's that persistence again. Also, this applicant showed some business competency, which is a nice to have, but certainly not critical. This applicant is consistently showing his character, and he's just doing the things that a high-performing college student might do. Okay, let's read the final 2 paragraphs. Suddenly, like Professor Guzman, Lamplight's co-founders were open to discussing initiatives with me. I requested a list of priority projects and identified one where my age and lesser experience didn't matter. I began navigating the massive bureaucracy necessary to apply for film production tax credits and contacted 6 states and 2 Canadian provinces. I was dumbfounded to learn from an official at the Canadian Revenue Agency, essentially Canada's IRS, that one of our productions was eligible for a digital animation, visual effects, and post-production credit totaling $375,000. I immediately started scrambling for other credits, but the window had closed. Still, Lamplight now had a roadmap for pursuing such credits going forward, which will save the firm significantly. Laughing, I realized I'd gone from studying incentives to applying for them. By summer's end, I had 2 strong recommendations from Lamplight's founders and reconnected with my Microsoft contact, through whom I secured a position I've long coveted, a full-time role in its Aspired Experience rotational program. I never imagined that doggedness would be what helped me find my way, given that I've often viewed myself as the acquiescent, if not overly apologetic type. My mother jokes that if someone steps on my foot, I'm the one to apologize. She isn't wrong. But I now recognize the positive side of being stubborn or willful and how to apply this productively. I wanted to start an organization and encountered a roadblock, but I persevered and found a way to produce results. And when my summer internship threatened to be unproductive, I did the same and generated value for both the firm and myself in terms of learning and experience. I know that the environment at Microsoft will be well structured, and that's good. I thrive within structure, but I'm also able to diplomatically achieve results whenever my original game plan falls short. Okay, our applicant wraps with a positive resolution of his story. He got his full-time Microsoft offer, due in part to his recommendations which he earned, and he reflects on who he is and how he's grown in a very honest and straightforward manner. Throughout this essay, our applicant shows tremendous self-awareness and reveals his sincere traits which empower him and should remain throughout his career. So I'm not asking you to write this exact essay. In fact, you shouldn't. I'm merely advising that you write your essay, ensuring that your values are on display and that you not try too hard to impress. Ironically enough, that's what makes an impression. So that's how to write a 2+2 or deferred essay. If you're wondering if you should be applying to those programs altogether, please check out this video right here on who should apply to 2+2 and deferred applications. And if you want to book a free consultation with a consultant or firm, please check the description below.